This lesson is on section 1.5, titled Subtracting Integers. Again, this is another review from what we've already learned. So whenever you think, or whenever you see a negative sign, you have to think, let's go to the left. When you see a positive sign, we have to think, go to the right. And just like we reviewed last lesson, think of the number line. When you subtract, you go to the left, or when you see a negative, you go to the left. When you add or you see a positive, you're going to go to the right. Let's go to an example here. So 8 minus 15. Okay, so if I put 8 here, we know 0 is going to be about here. Okay, so 8 minus, that minus says I go to the left. So 8 minus 15, well, I know I have to go 8 this way. Okay, that's going to get us to 0. So then I'm going to keep going. So really what I'm doing in this problem is I know my answer is going to be negative because I'm going past 0, and I can think of 15 minus 8 is 7. So I know the answer is going to be negative 7. Again, whenever we think of negative, we go to the left. We already know we passed 0, so we know it's going to be negative. And then we have to go 7 past 0 to make that negative 7. Or again, this is a little trick right there. Next example, we have 13 minus negative 22. So this is that one problem where we have two negatives right next to each other. They kind of cancel each other out. Now these parentheses right here, you can pretend they're not even there. A lot of times you'll see parentheses there just to separate the minus sign and the negative sign, which is ultimately the same. It has you do the exact same function. But we just kind of separate them with parentheses. So when you see two negatives, so the first trick I had for you when you saw something like this, what you can do is you can kind of turn those into a big fat plus sign. Or if you don't want to think about it like that, I'm going to get kind of rid of that there. This says, okay, well, I need to go to the left. But this one is like, oh, just kidding. This kind of cancels itself out, okay? So whenever I have 2 minus, this is left. Okay, no, we're going to switch back directions. Now we're going to move to the right. So it kind of says, nope, we're done with the left. We got to take its opposite direction. That's what this negative is there. It's the opposite direction. We're moving to the right. That's why that actually works. But again, if you want to think about it, it just turns into a big fat plus sign right there. So really our problem turns into 13 plus 22. Hopefully we don't even need to worry about that number line right here, or, we can think about this, well, I got the 0 right here, and 13 is here, we got to go 22 in this direction. So you're going to end up with 35. Pretty simple problem right there. Again, if you have two negatives right next to each other, kind of cancels it out and turns into an addition sign. Lastly, we're taking a negative number and we're subtracting from it. So we have negative 5 minus 2. So if on my number line here, 0, I got negative 5 right here. This is saying I have to go to the left 2 spots. So I'm going to go left 2 spots. So I'm at negative 7. That brings us to the end of this lesson. Hopefully this was a nice review on subtracting integers.